Okay, great. Well, it's really, really good to see everybody here today, and thank you very much for joining us. Hello, and welcome to the webinar. Today, we're going to be discussing how Guyana is boosting global investor access through digital transformation, and we are going to be featuring the Guyana Office for Investment. So I'm Robert Lee. I'm the founder and CEO of REAS Group, GuyanaBusiness.com, as well as GuyanaEstate.com. And you can find my details there on if you want to get your phone, and you can take a click on the QR code. I'm also joined by Maximiano De Freitas, who is a senior economic analyst at the Guyana Office for Investment. Max, do you want to say hello?
Hi, good day, everyone. As I've introduced, my full name is Maximiano De Freitas, but I tend to be called Max. I am a senior economic analyst. I am assigned to the monitoring and compliance department. However, I also operate on special projects along with economic research in the economic unit. So I've kind of grown to have experience in various fields, and I'm looking forward to getting more involved in data analytics, which Robert has been guiding me in.
Thanks a lot, Max. And we also have on the call with us Diana Romanenko, who is our web developer. Diana, do you want to say a little bit about yourself?
Hello, I'm Diana, a web developer at REAS, Guyana Business and Guyana Estate. I developed the website we are discussing today, and I'm joining you from Ukraine.
Next, we have Fiazi Baksh, who's our cloud architect. Fiazi?
Everyone, I am Fiazi. I'm from Guyana, and yeah, I'm the cloud architect. It's just a fancy term for saying that I build tech solutions. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. So who is REAS? Okay, so to start, we are a UK-based digital transformation partner, and we work with governments, standards bodies, regulated organizations, and also private organizations as well, to help them build high trust digital systems and experiences. And we help those organizations to present themselves professionally on a global stage. And also to improve their digital clarity for folks like citizens, investors, and stakeholders, so that they can make data-driven decisions instead of assumptions, and also help them to build digital infrastructure that grows with them. So today we're going to cover how we were trusted to deliver this national digital platform with the Guyana Office for Investment. And just to let you know as well, sorry, sometimes my light kicks in and off because we're in an office that has one of those fancy sustainability lights. We're a Google Cloud partner, and we're authorized to sell and deliver and administer Google Workspace. Of course, Google doesn't need any introduction, and you know what it is. It is obviously the first and the second largest search engine in the world, and it's also fast becoming the global go-to AI provider as well. And you may have seen even some of the recent announcements, I think they were just made last night, on the use of Google Gemini to handle Apple devices, and also their things like Siri in their product line. As a Google Cloud partner, we support organizations with the management of their Google Workspace accounts, and we can also help train your teams on how to use it. We build bespoke software systems that use Google Cloud technologies, and we've done so even just recently for a multi-site school in the United Kingdom, which has a lot of regulatory and compliance needs that it needed to address. We also recently became an Ingram Micro partner, which covers about 90% of the world's population with tech, hardware, software, and services. And globally, I think they do probably around about 48 billion in terms of global sales in 2024. And it means that we can now provide and help you tech-wise with products including Apple, Lenovo, HP, etc. We are also we also have a lot of standards and compliance expertise because we've been a long-term digital partner to the global automotive and compliance bodies, including the IAOB, the SMMT, and British standards based in the UK. And in fact, we have a management system which is based on Google Workspace and BSI certified us recently with 0 non-conformities and also opportunities for improvement in our recent recertification last year. So I think what customers love most about us is that we have integrated capability all under one roof where we handle everything from strategy, websites, analytics, video, hardware, software, you name it. So it's a little bit about us. And I'm going to invite you to picture this. So you're an overseas investor, and then one day you discover some information on your social media feed about the growing economy of Guyana. And the first thing that you're going to do is that you're going to use your favorite search engine, which is Google, and probably type some of these words: Guyana, business, investment, opportunity. And so that's exactly what happened. The smart folks at the Guyana Office for Investment knew this, and they wanted to be on top of the organic search results. So the Guyana Office for Investment is a crucial part of the government's investment strategy to drive awareness and bring engagement and ultimately convince investors about investing money into Guyana's burgeoning economy. And of course, investor decisions on whether to make an approach or not are made online long before any meetings take place. So I think the key points to understand is that global investors judge credibility, and they're doing it literally in a matter of seconds. So the government websites are now economic and commercial infrastructure for the country, and the digital trust that users place in them will directly affect things like FDI, foreign direct investments, partnerships, as well as international perception. And it's too important, it was too important for the Guyana Office for Investment not to take their digital presence seriously. So I'm going to pass you over to Max, who's going to talk to you a bit more about the work that the Guyana Office for Investment does.
Good day, good day. So a little bit of the history of the Guyana Office for Investment. So because a lot of persons are very aware of how its long-standing history. It was actually formed in August 22nd, 1994. This was done under the leadership of one of Guyana's founding fathers, the late Honorable Dr. Chetty Jagan. It operates under the Guyana Investment Act 2004. This was developed under leadership and guidance of the then president and current vice president, the Honorable Dr. Barjagdio. Our mission statement, which guides us, is to contribute to Guyana's economic development by promoting and facilitating local and foreign private sector investment and exports. This is done in accordance with Guyana's approved investment and export strategies. These, of course, are often outlined in every year's budget. Even the next budget, we'll now have new directives under there. Now, we tend to operate primarily under 7 investment areas where we do investment promotion facilitation. These are agriculture, forestry, energy, mining, manufacturing, services, ICT, and tourism. Now, of course, should the investment mandate ever increase due to Guyana's ever-growing economy, those may include new various sectors. Of course, you do realize there is some overlap with the ministries. However, our job, of course, is to work on behalf of the private sector as an intermediary between them and the government. This involves policy advisory and advocacy support, such as negotiation on behalf of private investors and oftentimes being involved in international memorandums of understanding between countries. We also provide feedback from investors to the government. We're monitoring the effects of investment policies on investment climate. In terms of export, we work with export promotion facilitation. We're heavily involved in the brand Guyana development. This involves local product promotion, various expos around the world, and even locally in various regions, because many regions might not be familiar with the products being developed in other areas. This has been successfully done. We have a lot of kiosks being opened up throughout the country at large markets. And we also, of course, do manufacturer guidance on export readiness to help ensure that our local products are up to standards and ready for the international market. Now, recently in 2020, October 2020, we were put under the leadership of the Honorable Peter R. Ramstroop, Member of Parliament, who is the Chief Investment Officer of the Guyana Cooperative Republic, as well as head of the Guyana Office for Investment. He operates under the Office of the President. Now, recently this year, he's become Member of Parliament. We're all very proud of this. This is done, of course, due to his hard work and successful execution in Guyana's investment and export strategies. Um, Now, in terms of this, reaching this point of redesigning our website, we didn't just wake up one day and decide to do this. This is actually among the latest series of planning and strategy processes that started under our agency head's appointment. Now, he likes to create task force with clear objectives. We do research and we do reporting, and these objectives, of course, are set in line with the goals of the organization. But more importantly, the goals of the organization are set each year by the vision that is expounded by the president in his speeches. So this journey actually started around about in 2022. Now, the president's vision at the time was not just for Ghana to increase and become a great producer, but also to increase in quality of products and services and try to meet international standards. Um, with this, our agency head then set goals to achieve, well, one of two things. Uh, Digitization, and of course ISO 9001 certification. I personally joined here after studying, well, actually I started out in banking industry. I was interested in finance, but there I became open to how the world works, how Ghana is working, how it was operating internationally and regionally. I then started doing a diploma in economics where I fell in love with economics. Uh, Between 2016 and 2020, I studied economics. Besides, I graduated in the height of the pandemic. I had to wait till 2022 to finally be welcomed into the team. But when I did, I kind of went under the mentorship of our chief financial officer, Tobogo Christian. We had many discussions on the vision and how to achieve it, and the goals of the organization, understanding of it. And I was welcomed into two task force, one involving development of a internal CRM, and the other, of course, to achieve ISO 9001. Now, we did achieve the ISO 9001 in September 2016, sorry, September 26, 2022. And we've actually even gone further on to achieve recognition by Dun & Bradstreet. We're still looking to continually advance. The following year, we developed the Monitoring Compliance Department, which I currently operate in. This was set to provide quantitative and qualitative analysis and feedback and research into investment climate, investor initiatives, investment activities, and such. After that, though, if everybody remembers, I believe it was in 2023, the president issued a vision of digitization to Guyana. Following with that, we ourselves, we did internal digitalization. And recently, the president, of course, had set aside a vision of utilization of AI and AI-powered tools. Our agency head set aside a task force to look into this. While doing this, we realized that we needed to redesign our entire website to facilitate this level of modernization. So we started shopping around. It was quite difficult because we ourselves, we knew the objectives we wished, but we were not really yet too sure how to achieve them and how exactly to present it. Luckily, we came across Robert and REAS, who have been so helpful, because we gave them big visions and goals, and they were actually able to bring a lot of this to life if you've checked out our website. We were looking for interactivity to increase the engagement. We were looking for efficient communication. We were also looking to increase our appeal on a larger level, both to local and foreign investors. At the time, part of our digitization process, our latest advancement while looking at the AI was that we developed an AI chatbot. However, the AI chatbot, we needed to stand out more. We needed this design to catch your person's attentions, increase utilization, and properly appeal to a wide range of persons. Ms. Diane and Ms. Faizi helped us develop our avatar, our chatbot avatar, which is highly popular and has gained so much traction. It's a little pink robot you see on the left-hand side that follows you throughout the entire website, something that is not naturally possible. But due to their innovation, they were able to create this, and it has the conversations, the level of engagement it has with our clients, and the level of assistance it has in directing business towards us has been highly done. To the point where actually in the future, we're actually looking to increase our AI tools and AI usage. I'm not going to reveal any secrets or so, but we do have some plans to further utilize AI technology and to stay on forefront of that.
Mhm.
Our relationship with REAS is actually even going further forward. We're looking to develop, utilize their development in export promotion. And even in terms of the latest president's vision, which is efficiency, we're already seeing avenues and discussing possibilities to utilize various technologies and utilize our website to go further into that. So this is not just a static process. This is something that began long ago and is moving forward into the future.
Well, brilliant. Thank you very much, Max. And thank you very much for for mentioning some of the things that we undertook. Of course, we're going to go into a little bit more with some deep dives on how we took it from being a traditional kind of static web-based platform to what it is right now, which is a world-class investor portal. So we're going to talk about some of the challenges that were faced at the time, and it's it's important to know that we're being very, very upfront about this, and we're not trying to like sugarcoat anything, but there was a lot of things at the time which were present. So imagine that you've got like 10 years worth of content growth, and imagine it kind of outpacing the structural development that you have on your website. Now, let's say you have a business that's a startup, and after 10 years of all of the marketing material that you had, your business is not the same that you started with. Things would have changed. Formats would have changed. File types would have improved. The social media aspect comes on the scene, and all of those things would have happened over the last 10 to 15 years. So the original website, which may have originally been built and fit for purpose right at the beginning, was probably not it was not fit for purpose after the 10 years of all of the changes that had happened, including changes in Guyana itself, because the investment outlook had, of course, changed as well. So things like important investor information was I suppose buried across PDFs, which were optimized for things like printing, and the page connections did not follow things like logical workflows. Also, things like the navigation designed around the service, it was more internally focused, and it wasn't really aligning with what the investor journey would be. Also, there was not there was not really like clear paths to guide intended users to discover why Guyana, where should I invest, and how do I even get started. And because of the fact that the data and efficiency metrics was not there, they had very limited visibility into who was visiting, what did they look like, where were they from, what were they looking for, and also how were they getting there from things like social media, other websites, and so on.
If I may, Rob, and this is actually was part of what heavily led us. When we did due to ISO, you're always looking for opportunities for improvement and
Mhm.
such. And these were actually key things that actually came up in our ISO audits and such. And we realized, of course, Guyana was outpacing the entire region. Then we started looking at, okay, how were we improving? Yes, we improved our human interaction, our human resources. We were hiring the best staff and such. However, due to the usage of third parties primarily, in terms of normally that's how it's done in terms of maintaining a website. Everyone uses a third party to have a developer and such. You don't tend to have much direct control unless you have a large IT department with dedicated personnel. But even then, the persons, let's say, who are in charge of content and development and analytics, they don't have direct access to that. So all of that actually came into play to making decisions that we made in the design.
Mm-hmm. And I think there was one thing that was probably the most influential thing in terms of pushing, I guess, the Office of Investment to sort of make the decision to improve it, and that was this, right?
Oh yeah.
So it took roughly about the time that I've been speaking that long for the page to load, the first load, right? And when you
And this
think
was due primarily to the fact that we had so much content that we kept putting onto there that it became kind of like a packed room, and it became difficult to navigate. And this wasn't just for foreign investors. This, of course, affected our local persons that we were trying to outreach to.
Hmm. So there was performance issues of the site, and of course the noticeable delays, which were present when you tried to navigate the platform. It had previously an outdated version of WordPress, which also caused the increase in the load times, and there was also a risk of security issues on the site, and there was also an indication of issues as well in terms of site maintenance being done. The analytics wasn't installed properly, and they couldn't get kind of any information on who viewed, showed interest, or engaged with the content, where they were from. And therefore, this meant crucially that those people couldn't be, this meant crucially that the office couldn't be aware of the opportunities that were being missed when it came to serving their users, including those global investors.
And we have to be able to react to that, especially for our agency. We need to be able to react to that quickly, because we have a lot of conferences going on. We have a lot of times when the president gives a speech. We need to be able to see and react to what is going on. And one thing I would like to highlight here is the no mobile friendly design. This here is something that a lot of persons with traditional website designs in Guyana will overlook and not realize how much this hinders the traffic. Because most persons, everybody now, uses a phone to quickly go through your website. So while it may look good and structured on a laptop, when you switch to that view, and Robert showed us this, when he showed us the view on the mobile, we saw that we needed to take time out and restructure and redesign ourselves specifically to appeal to the ever-growing mobile user base.
Absolutely, and Max is right. I mean, when it came to the design, there was sort of little interactivity that a user could have with the website itself, and the design itself. It wasn't, it was old and traditional, and therefore, it didn't really do anything to engage the user. Things like text and imagery were also inefficiently formatted, sometimes with large, heavy load times because of the size of the PDFs. And things like the inclusion of YouTube videos just kind of only exacerbated the load times. So that's, some of the design elements which were causing issues. There were also technical issues as well, with the site not being, as Max said, configured for mobile use. We all know that roughly about 40 to 60% of websites are viewed on devices. And if you think about it, that's, if your website's not going to load for a mobile phone or a tablet, then that's almost half of your users gone. So if they can't view it and have a good experience, then you have to do something about it. There was also a Facebook feed, and that sort of plugin was present, but again, it worked inefficiently, and the page speed scores were like in their 20s. And I think also something crucially as well that folks in Guyana also need to know of, and I suppose folks anywhere, not just Guyana, is that cookie consent management needs to be present. And it's actually a legal requirement when you're dealing with GDPR, e-privacy, and CCPA globally. And it is a crucial trust indicator for businesses, no matter where they are based in the world, for people to go, yes, this is a website that represents and has the credibility that it should have. So, when we took a look at what was happening with the Office of Investment, we also saw this across many other organization websites in Guyana. And we know as well, it's not a skill issue, it's a framework issue, and that, the kind of things that are being utilized at the minute. So the solution.
Now we would like to walk you through our approach to the digital transformation. Rob, please, next slide. And these are the objectives that we had to cover. We modernize the look and feel of the website, improve speed and SEO performance, make it easier to manage and update internally, highlight key content including Facebook activity, PDF resources, news and events, integrate new technologies such as chatbot interactions and background videos, and also implement Google Analytics to track what matters and turn website activity into clear insights.
Yeah, that was a lot of objectives we gave y'all. I just feel we did give y'all a lot to do. But all those were actually, if you go, all those were actually highly essential. Of course, there was a technical aspect such as the load speeds and such, but a lot of persons may overlook the aspect in terms of modernizing your design. But when we think about it, interactivity in terms of internet usage is high, and in terms of persons, their patience, their attention span goes down. So the higher level of interactivity in Guyana websites is going to be essential to not just attract foreign investors, but even as a younger generation grows up. They're not like us older generation who will take their time and read through all the details. It needs to be presented dynamically to them. And we, of course, need to be able to stay on top of that. The Google Analytics, I will admit, has been excellent. It was something we didn't know we needed until Robert and Diane brought it to our site. Matter of fact, when we first met, we didn't even know the actual number. We knew our website was a bit slow. We knew we had some issues. But when we were actually able to see the numbers and see it in numbers, which is something they do, they bring that to you. It's not something you asked for. They brought it to us. When we saw that, then we understood the importance of what had to be done and where we were coming from. And then we were actually even able to see where we ended up afterwards. And that allowed us to be satisfied with the service that we received.
Thanks, Max.
They put a lot on her.
Yeah, the first step that we did was to research and investigate similar government and ministry websites to create an internal vision for the Guyana Office for Investment.
And just to let you guys know that it was the site that we officially kind of built in the end. We took all of the learnings that we could extrapolate from every single website. We looked at Abu Dhabi, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, most of the larger countries around South America, the US, the UK, Europe, all of these different investment agencies. And we said, what are the best things about them that we liked, that we could bring to the Guyana Office for Investment?
Next, we carried out a full sitemap audit, reviewing every page of the previous website and mapping all relevant content for the rebuild. Based on this, we designed clear user pathways for first-time investors, sector-specific opportunities, and returning and high-intent users.
So what you're looking at here was the previous website, and there was lots of things that just needed to be configured and pulled back together to make it really, really user-friendly.
And also to tell a story as well.
Yeah.
And once we had a clear sitemap, the next step was defining the overall strategy for the website rebuild. Our focus was not just on redesigning the site visually, but on simplifying the experience and making the platform more effective long-term. This meant building a flexible CMS in Webflow, introducing motion and video to bring the content to life, and ensuring the website performance well across all devices, like mobiles, tablets, desktops, and laptops. Finally, we enabled proper tracking and analytics so the team can clearly understand how users interact with the site and use data to guide future decisions.
One thing to speak about, the content management system. A lot of persons might overlook that. I guess more technical persons might understand that. But for us, this was actually highly essential to us now. Because what this allows is, rather than having to go through third parties and wait in time to, let's say, do content updates, because content update is highly important. Having the latest content, let's say, even in terms of social media, we all know content update is important. But it not just applies to social media, it applies in terms of your website traffic. Persons are going to return every day. If you could put out more content, put it up there, and that if you could do that internally and easily, because this system here is actually very simple. That way, non-technical staff, non-staff with IT, including myself, our marketing teams and such, are able to understand it and utilize it with minimal training from Robert and their setup. It's very easy to go through from start to finish and to keep updating and utilizing. So we don't have to constantly run to them in the middle of the night or, go wait 2-3 days before something to get put on there. We update our content. We put out a new version of one of our marketing materials in a new language. we upload it right away. If we have a new, let's say, set information done by the president that we wish to put up, right away we can put it up to respond, same day. And with the animations, a lot of stuff you see there, they actually helped us develop that. They created that content for us. That's something I guess Robert doesn't forgot about his team. His team, we actually did not have much of the, let's say, the pictures and the videos to go along with what we wanted our design to be. They actually helped us do that design for those video banners you'll see.
Thank
And
you, Max.
thank you, yeah. From a design perspective, we focused on introducing features that make the website more engaging and easier to use. We added background videos to bring key pages to life, integrated live Facebook content to highlight ongoing activity of their team, introduced smart filtering for events, and implemented and styled the client's existing chatbot to be interactive on the website. We also replaced static pages with dynamic content management system sections, such as team portfolios and resources, and integrated forms and databases with Google Workspace tools like Sheets, making the site easier to manage, scale, and maintain over the time.
Fiazi is going to talk a little bit about the expression of interest preliminary screening form.
Yes, thank you. Hi, everyone. So Diana just spoke about the website design process, and she mentioned integrations with Google Workspace. Now, this is an example of where that came into play. I remember one of the requests from Max was, how can we increase the efficiency of their screening process for their expression of interest form? And we did using Google Forms linked directly to Google Sheets, and we basically created a whole new look and setup for their screening form. So this new setup provide much greater control. So instead of them relying on us to make any updates, their team can now manage, their application process independently using tools such as Google Workspace. Now, this sort of flexibility helped their team to, better manage control over their data and, hopefully improve the quality of the investor data that was coming in via their form. Another important step was integrating analytics. We implemented Google Analytics 4, not just to track page views, but to really start understanding how investors were actually using and actually interacting with the website. Now, the analytics was configured to track key events. This means the team now has clear visibility into page performance, user locations by country and city, language interactions, and of course, engagement with key site features such as their chatbot, as well as downloadable resources and any interactive element on their website. Now, as a result, the website now produces clear and actionable insights that supports their decision-making, reporting, and of course, continuous data-driven improvement. For example, the development of new marketing material so that it can keep the content on the website as fresh as possible. Next slide, please.
One thing as well, a lot of persons may realize, for agencies that are involved in expos and such. Now these every month we collect analytics from the team. A group of us go through it, and then we provide this, of course, to our agency head. He utilizes information in his future planning, but what he also does is he's also able to look back and assess the efficiency of our own strategies. For example, he went over last year to the UK to take part of BritChamp. He was there with Robert then, and we were able to immediately see the effects of his speech actually directing persons into our website and able to see the sort of responses and what their interests were. So immediately you can then evaluate and see how your strategy is working, how well your presentations are doing, how well your promotions are, and even your expos. We could see that when we attend certain expos and we do certain things, it affects in certain ways our traffic. And then we could then either adjust if, let's say, something was inefficient, to try a different method, or we could then sometimes even test around with new methods and then see which ones work best.
Thanks, Max.
So that means we are collecting and tracking useful data on the website. So that's good. Now, we've been talking about analytics, and to ensure your analytics tracking is done responsibly, cookie content needs to be implemented on your website. And Rob would have mentioned this earlier, because if your website is collecting any sort of data, you need to have some sort of compliant consent feature there. Now, for an investment-focused website like the Guyana Office for Investment, GDPR compliance is critical because they are engaging with an international audience. Now, what we did is implemented a GDPR compliant cookie content system to ensure that the transparency across data collection and to give users full control over their preferences. So if you were to go visit the website right now, don't worry, I'll touch on that in the results. But let's say you were to take a step ahead and go visit the website right now, you would be able to select what sort of data you want to be tracked. Now, from a compliance standpoint, that means that we only collect data from you once you give clear consent. So this not only supports legal compliance, but it also builds the trust and the credibility, which is essential for Go Invest because they're representing, investment opportunities at a global stage. Next slide, please. Oh,
Spicy, does that also help in terms of not being blocked by, let's say, certain search engines and that sort of stuff? I think that also helps prevent chance of that being happen, right?
yes, it does.
Talking about the results of the changes that were introduced with the new Guyana Office for Investment website.
So we talked all about the solution. Now let's see what results it gave. So this is the step ahead I was talking about. This is the live website for the Guyana Office for Investment. So if you can just type that in on your browser, so it's guyanainvest.gov.gy, you should be able to see all of the features that we've been talking about so far and a lot more. So all of the design, the strategy, and the system, it's all built into this website. And of course, Max mentioned the little chatbot avatar. So you'll see that following you across the website. So if you have any questions and you don't want to ask it here, then might as well make use of the AI chatbot.
Please engage with Ask Henry. We have optimized him to the highest levels possible to take on as many queries as possible and give advice.
And I mean, if you have any suggestions on how to improve the chatbot, I'm sure Max wouldn't mind, accepting those suggestions as well.
We always accept feedback, and we're willing to. We look towards continual improvement of our services. So.
Yeah. Okay. So to summarize, let's just talk about the results. So the website now reflects a modern and confident Guyanese identity. It also performs fast. And it gives the team full control through a self-managed platform. And of course, we mentioned it has integrated analytics, a CMS-driven database, an interactive avatar for their chatbot, and scalable infrastructure. Now, the site, it's just no longer a website, but it can be a long-term digital platform that we build to help them grow with their future investment needs.
If I may, I'd just like to go on because the chatbot is one of the pride and joys of our agency here, and especially one of the large challenges we issued to the team, because as most persons know, originally chatbots are very static. They're kind of just stuck in their inner corner. One of our challenges was to try and incorporate the AI chatbot as much as possible, make it centric to the website. So allowing it to be able to, let's say, if you speak with it, it could navigate through the various areas and do that. But we want it to constantly travel with you as a companion throughout the website. So while we had all the knowledge and everything in there, the design aspect is very important. You could have the most information, most knowledge available in your website, but presentation and design is very important. And after we developed that chatbot avatar, its usage went up. It was already highly useful. It already had tons of knowledge base in it. But the way we presented it to the persons that were visiting by developing that chatbot, even the color was picked by our HSC head, and it has been a hit. It really has helped a lot with driving business our way.
Yes. Okay. Glad to know the chatbot is being useful. And I mean, telling from the analytics, I think it's going to be touched on in the metrics in a few seconds. But yeah, the increase, the clicks, the interactions on the chatbot, they've really gone up. So hopefully it's being useful to everybody that's using the website. Now, looking at the data here, a few key improvements really stand out, and one of the major focus was performance. So, for example, the page speed, the scores for that increased on both desktop as well as mobile, and it roughly increased by like 75 to 80%, which is, a good enough increase. And this would have directly, enhanced and improved user experience.
Fiazi, quick one. Can you, for those who don't really know, can you explain what that metric actually means?
Yes. So when we talk about page speed, earlier we had a slide where we had the old website loading, and you had that counter where it went for 10 seconds. Now your page speed, exactly as the name sounds, it's how quickly does your website load for users. And you don't want to be waiting, 10, 15 seconds for the website to load. So faster loading time would mean that your users can access your website quickly, they can access content, they can get the information that they want, and that would improve their experience and hopefully, get them to come back to the website more often. And it also helps to increase or impact your search engine rankings. Because if your website performs well, then it's likely going to show up and offer suggestions. Right.
And for those who may be worrying and thinking, okay, the Guyana Office investment had to remove content, REAS actually offered us solutions whereby we originally used to, I think, have the content and the PDFs directly embedded in the website, utilizing Google Suites, I think Google Drive and such. We're actually able to have more content on there of a higher quality embedded in there without and reduce all that loading speed and stuff, because they gave us some technical solutions. I'm not going to leak them right now. But yeah, they gave us technical solutions to be able to increase our content without having to drive up our Google PageSpeed. So it is possible.
Yeah. So not to worry if you have a lot of data, there's always some way that we can make it organized and we make it useful not only for yourself, but for the end user as well. Just to touch on something else, what are the metrics? So oh, do you want to say something?
Sorry, Fiazi, no, I was just...
Yeah, another thing is that now users are actually staying on the website, and we can see this via something called an average session duration, which is done by our analytics tracking, and it has grown considerably. There is like an average of users spending over 3 minutes on the website. So it means that, we did something right with the website, the content, the loading, something is resonating with the visitors. And of course, the team also have clear visibility into all sort of traffic, organic traffic, local traffic, as well as international interests. So this next set of metrics here, it shows how visitors or users are interacting with your website. Now, we're seeing consistent engagement in terms of resource downloads of marketing materials, and of course, as we mentioned, the chatbot interactions. Now, both of those have increased significantly, which shows that users are not just visiting, but they're actively engaging and interacting with the website. They're seeking content, and the website provides that. Something else that we did is the live Facebook integration. That also keeps the website up to date with real activity from the Guyana Office for Investment. So it's giving users, a sense of what's happening with Guyana business and investments and everything in real time. And of course, with full Google Analytics and Search Console in place, the team has now full, clear, end-to-end visibility to investors' behaviors. Yeah, so that's all on the metrics for now, and I'll hand you back over to Rob.
One thing to note, and this is something I think about our most recent analysis, was I think you all helped us to develop some content specifically in the Chinese language. And before, China was ranked in terms of visitation a little bit low, but it was one of the languages that showed up as having an interest in. So we decided to, just test out some digital content in Chinese. I think it is our snapshot or the passport. And since then, usership from interactivity from from Chinese investors has gone up. The site visitation. So right there, live, we were able to see within 3 months, the numbers went up.
Yeah. And I think that's also a key thing to say, that, for investors, they've got now the kind of information that they need to gain access to. They get it in a format that resonates with them. It means something to them. Like like you were saying, if you're from China, you're expecting to almost see the information in Mandarin. It gives, for investors, a clear, credible first impression of Guyana. It means also that there's easier exploration of sectors and opportunities which are there, and that also bolsters confidence and trust in the fact that the information that they're getting is credible, and it's coming with with the kind of provenance that they need to in order to make their decisions.
It's also efficient on your budget, because then you could clearly see where is the best place where you can invest your money in terms of marketing materials, and you don't end up, making inefficient budgeting decisions.
Yeah. So exactly that. For the organization, as in for Go Invest, they now had full visibility into the investor locations, what interested them. They could understand the high performing sectors and the content as well that they were producing. They had data back-end decision making as well. Sorry, data-backed decision making, and of course content updates in minutes, not weeks. And there was also a reduced reliance on external technical support. For Guyana, for example, I mean, it's a national investment platform that reflects growth, it reflects stability, and it also reflects global readiness as well, because the stronger positioning allows us to reach those international markets with that digital foundation that wants to scale FDI growth. That's one of the key things that came through.
I know everybody focuses on the FDI, but the truth of the matter is it actually had a heavy impact on our local aspect. For example, a lot of Guyanese, we all know a lot of Guyanese, we like to have a bit more of an interactive discussion. We like to go in and speak to people and such, especially in terms of how we developed and presented the chatbot. It wasn't just like searching a library. It was like them actually speaking to an employee of the Guyana Office Investment. So a lot of local investors, we've seen a lot of local investor interaction, and it would then direct them. They would ask, let's say, about summarize the budget. What are some of the plans going forward? How do I go about doing? Someone literally asked, so if I register a business like this, what can happen? And a lot of local persons are benefiting from the website design. And then it'll maybe send them to a specific page, give them specific information, or give them the document to download if they're interested, or would just summarize the document for them. So, like I said, it's not just the foreigners. It actually helps a lot with local engagement, because it makes a lot easier for them to just easily see key information, and also if they need to get information, that the level of chatbot that we have reached allows them to be able to feel comfortable speaking and interacting with it and asking questions. And a lot of persons are now actually, well, because they have AI on their phone, a lot of Guyanese, they're definitely taking advantage of it.
So where are you in your digital journey? And I think most organizations will probably fall into one of these stages. And as we go through them, what I'd like is for you to ask yourself honestly, which one sounds like us at the moment? So the first one is that you're at stage one, where you've got digital presence. This one is your website is static or mostly static, and you're not really able to adapt it to real-time developments and dynamic organizational goals. You've got content built up over time with no clear structure, limited or no analytics, updates that take too long and require external help. And I suppose it feels like you've got a website, but it's not really working for you. And then you get people calling or emailing because they're looking for the information and they can't seem to find things. So have a think if this is what stage you're at. And also be aware that the risk and opportunity is that even though your website exists, it doesn't help trust or it isn't advocating your goals. So the next one is stage 2. You've got a bit of digital performance now. So you have clear navigation and user journeys. You've got content aligned to real user needs. You've got fast, mobile-friendly performance, and you've got analytics showing who's visiting and what matters. And it feels a bit like, okay, well, our website explains us clearly to our users, and we understand what users are looking for. So if you're at this stage, I suppose the risk and opportunity is now that you have something that is working, but how are you going to maintain and build on top of it?
That stage is still kind of just reacting to you. It's
Yeah. And stage 3 is where you've got a certain level of digital intelligence now, which is kind of leading to data-led decision making. And this is where you've got like Google Analytics tracking fully implemented. You've got visibility into demographics, countries, sectors, high intent pages. And data is now starting to inform the strategy and not just the assumptions that you're making on, what consumption is. It starts to feel like, well, we know now what's working and we know why. And therefore, that means we can justify the decisions that we're starting to make internally. So currently at the stage that is here, this is probably where the Guyana Office of Investment has moved to. And, basically, this is where the website is a decision support tool. It's not just a communications channel. It's helping the content to iterate. It's improving performance, and it's giving them the incremental gains, which are affecting all aspects of what they need to do.
Yeah, our website is actually utilized in our day-to-day planning and discussion. We take it into consideration rather than just us doing stuff. And then later on, we'll do our website reflect that we're already thinking in the moment when we're doing something, okay, fine, we have to do the physical aspect, and then we also take into consideration the digital aspect as well at the same time.
So stage 4 now is where you've got this superb machine. The system is being iteratively refined. It will need a human in the loop to fine-tune it, of course, but this is where we're talking about AI support with AI agents handling automations and workflows, continuous optimization using real-time data, and the platform can now scale and grow. And what that feels like is that you've got digital systems that actively support your mission. And the technology itself is not further adding to your workload, it's removing some of it. And I think this is the bit here now where you need to start training your teams to handle things on the ground, and they need to develop the AI expertise as well as leverage the very best AI tools available.
And this is where we intend to go with you, Rob, within this next year and so forth. And it's more so than reducing workload. What it actually does is it actually frees up human resources, because rather than us having to take on a bunch of extra staff, let's say do all the content stuff and do all that, due to the simple methods that we have, due to the chatbot that we have, we're actually able to free up our staff to do other things, to be involved, let's say, in the design, to explore other skills. I myself have increased my skill set through this, and going further, as I said, into data analytics. Then, because then that'll be further applicable to doing more with it, let's say, in the future thinking, data-driven decision aspect of the Guyana Office investment. So, like I said, it's not just reducing workload. It frees up people. It frees up your time, because most of us, almost all of us, work from 8 to 4. And even if you are a manager and you put in that overtime is very, very precious. So with this here, you have to spend less time on the nitty-gritty, on the constant set of checking all the minor details, and you can now ensure that into a proper, clean system with processes, and therefore then free up yourself and your staff take on bigger challenges and to, let's say, increase efficiency, increase growth, increase scale and scope of your operations for your department and for your organization. And we're about to do that with you with the export department. So people eventually who's seeing us right now will see with probably by the end of this year, our export page will, trust me, it'll blow you out of the water when we're finished.
So I guess the real question is, if you're watching this webinar, is to really ask, do we need a website? Is our digital presence helping or holding us back? And I think that's a really, really key thing to be aware of. So as Max alluded to earlier on, we've got great collaboration with the Guyana Office for Investment. That's why we're doing this today. We wanted to share the areas and the ideas across the board that we have encountered when working with the team from the Guyana Office for Investment, with everybody else. We want, ministries, agencies, public and private sector organizations to learn from and find the opportunities for improvement that they can make to their own systems. And I think one thing that we always, which we never really did, was also to dismiss any kind of the ideas that the local team had.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we never said, no, that's a stupid idea or anything like that. That's not the way how we worked at all with, the Guyana Office for Investment. They're the experts in that local market. They understand them far more than we ever could. What we did do was we brought our design and technical expertise to help them see how they could do more with what they already had. And I think that's, a really key thing for us.
And I'll admit, as a especially as a coming from England, which, by the way, in this picture, remember, you came all the way there to actually see us. You didn't have to, but you came to see and get a closer understanding of what our systems were like, what exactly we're doing, what our objectives are. Because when you came here, when you truly understood, after sitting down with us and interacting with us and our staff, you understood what is the purpose of Guyana investment. And I think our design especially exploded around at that time.
Yeah,
I'm very grateful for
that. The thing was that it was so collaborative, and of course the opportunities in Guyana are always going to change over the course of time. Like a couple of years ago, it was mostly oil and gas focused. Now it's starting to move into other directions. The market is dynamic. It's not just going to be oil based. It's pivoting to things like exports in agriculture and food and tourism and culture and manufacturing and all those types of things. So, what we're doing is we're trying to make something and work with the Office of Investment to help them improve continually all the time, and using those AI tools and innovation, as well as the knowledge transfer, including with like either direct or indirect training sometimes.
I've become so accustomed to all the Google Docs and all the Google aspects now.
Yeah.
But one thing, of course, and I know a lot of persons know this. For example, our agency, we're already planning ahead. We know that the Guyana budget is coming out soon. Now, we expect there to be some very interesting developments and even some brand new avenues of discussion. And we're already prepared, and we're easily able to actually react to that and update our website within very little time. So we won't have to wait months to get our website up and ready, and let's say promote the new vision to align with the new strategies. Very quickly we could do it. Let's say even when the new numbers come out, we could update it onto our website. Let's say we want to push certain projects, infrastructure projects or infrastructural plans. We're already primed and ready due to the way the design of the website is now to react to that. We may not even need to call up Rob. We might be able to do some stuff on our own right away, same day.
Yeah. And that's what we're hoping for, so that it's a self-service platform that you guys can continue to iterate on. So I think, just in the interest of time, we probably won't do any Q&A for now. What I'd like to do is to show you guys a slide here, which has got a link to this full case study. You can click here to download it, and you can find the information out directly. Also, there is an investment passport, and I think Max and his team are more than happy to share that with you, if you contact them directly. And for those of you who are attending this today, we do have something which is really, really cool. And something that you should know is that because we're a Google Workspace partner and cloud partner, the way how Google's working right now is that they believe that AI is going to be foundational for the future of work. the transformative power that it has to be accessible by every business and every employee, and it's got to be done so at an affordable price. And that's why the best of Google AI comes in Workspace for Business and Enterprise plans without the need for you to purchase any add-ons. So just for today and today alone, we're offering a 10% discount for any Google Workspace licenses if you sign up or renew any more than 5 accounts. And we are happy to manage your Google Workspace administration and provide ongoing support to help you get the most out of your workspace tools, including things like Gmail, Drive, Chat, you name it, and you will get the first month for free. And a typical cost to a company is like roughly about $2K for a month with 100 employees. So the cost is significant. And we're not talking 2,000 Guyana dollars, 2,000 US, right? So it is quite a considerable saving that you'll get. And you'll see also that you're going to save money as well by reducing unnecessary software. So there's a lot of things that you can build using Google Workspace directly with things like AppSheet, for example, which would help you remove things like Trello, HubSpot, Asana, Monday, all of those different types of tools. Something that you also get as a result of it is enhanced security, which results in reducing security tool costs such as antivirus, malware, phishing, all that sort of stuff. So things like Acronis, Kaspersky, Bitdefender, you don't have to have them because it's all built in. So you can go and find our details up on here by clicking in the Google Cloud Partner Directory, or you could just go on our website and you can contact us. Another key thing to note as well is that we're here to help all businesses access IT software and hardware services. And recently we became a partner, a reseller partner for Ingram Micro, which allows us to expand the things that you can now access in Guyana from the likes of HP, Apple, Lenovo, Cisco, Dell, and more. And these vary from all sorts of different products, from computer systems to consumables, everything from printers, cartridges, laptops, touchscreen, even phones and tablets, you name it. We can help you source those items, and they would be a lot cheaper than buying them either on Amazon, which may not even service the area, or getting like bulk quantities, which you may need to procure. So thank you very
Stuff
much.
we're looking at, I think you have some hardware thing they could actually utilize for our expos and booths, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff they oftentimes tends to have to rent from impressions and so forth. Let's say those interactive screens and a couple other nice things to help improve our expo we've been looking at.
Yeah. And those are some of the things that now you can utilize and you can gain access to through us directly from REAS. So yeah, we'd be more than happy to have a conversation about providing them to you. So you can talk to us today if you use the QR code at the bottom. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you. I myself am coming into the country next week. There is going to be a conference which is taking place, and I'm looking to attend that. I would love to see and meet any of you. If you wish to, just drop me a line on LinkedIn or on any one of my other social profiles, and just let me know if you'd like to have a conversation about how we can help you improve your digital presence and bring to you the same kind of methodologies, the strategy, the tools, the discounts, just like what we're doing with the Guyana Office for Investment. So yeah, looking forward to seeing you next couple of weeks. Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks a lot, Max.
Thank you. It's good to be here. See you, everyone.